Vision, hell, dreams, a dream. Part 2 of being sick. I was diagnosed with something called pulmonary embolism, which has to do with your lungs and blood clots. This all happened from an injury that I was at work and had received, and excuse me, I had ended up in a situation where, from the injury, that affected me in a very, very serious way. Actually, what happened was a blood clot in my body had made its way to both of my lungs. And, let me just say this, Lord, I don't even know what to say in this testimony or how to put it. I've never really been a overtly expressive type person when it comes to giving praise or talking to you. I have given people testimonies before about my vision that you showed me when you allowed me to see hell. And I guess in a way I want to say thank you for the fact that regardless of the things that have happened, you have helped me. And this is my testimony to say thank you and to share and to explain some things, I guess, about my situation. So, amen. Now, when I received these blood clots in my lungs, I didn't know what was happening with me. I didn't know what was going on. All I know is that I was just working, and it got very difficult for me to breathe. I actually felt like I thought I had the flu. I had body aches, but they were like massive body aches all over, especially in certain parts of my body. And, I was taking stuff like, Alka-Seltzer or Theraflu or, things like that would help you with flu-like symptoms, because I thought maybe I'm coming down with the flu. I got shortness of breath and everything. At that time, I did not know that there was clots that were in my lungs, and I guess it was becoming a thing where it was more of them getting in there as this happened or went on. Well, eventually it got so bad that I couldn't pick up a 2x4 and carry it like 8 feet without having to stop and bend over to try to get oxygen or air. Finally, I went to the hospital, and I had made it just in time. But I remember that day I was going to the hospital. I didn't think I could make it to the hospital. I thought, I'm just tired. It's this flu. It's like, it's really taking a lot out of me. When I made it to the hospital, I got to the emergency room. I parked outside of the emergency room, and I sat there for a while in the car. And I remember thinking, if I just sit here and go to sleep for a little bit, I'll be all right, and then I'll go into the emergency room. But as I was sitting there, and I was, trying to, just park there for a minute, I closed my eyes to try to go to sleep. And then this voice told me to get up and go. And I went into the emergency room, and I barely could make it. It's like even walking 20 feet, I'd have to stop and take breaths, like, you know what I mean? And that's how it was. When I got to the desk at the front counter, the lady asked me, well, what are you here for? What's going on? And I said, I can hardly breathe. And I started to go black all of a sudden. But I didn't completely go black. And I caught myself up against the desk, and they got me in a wheelchair and took me straight to x-rays. And that's when they had found that I had clots in both lungs. And that actually, when I got to the hospital, I was several hours away from dying. And I did not know that is what was going on with me. So the doctor explained to me that the shortness of breath and the body aches that you're feeling and you have is because your organs inside of your body are starting to die. they are doing what they can to try to stay alive, so they're starting a process of shutting down other organs in my body to preserve the ones that were more important, I guess. And we have to take you to surgery right now. And I was rushed right from then, straight into emergency surgery. And they actually went up through my groin and into a main vein, into both of my lungs. And I was up and I was awake and I could see this whole surgery taking place, because they said they could not put me under because I had just eaten some things before I got to the hospital, you know. And I could see these two would look like mics or something, in one in each lung, and then one went up into my heart. And they were removing the clots that were in my lungs with this drug they put in me. And I came out of that surgery. But before I did, they was telling me about my leg issue. I had an issue with my leg where a clot was, and it was almost to the point where they were saying it might be necessary for a removal of my leg. And you know what I want to do is I just want to say thank you, because the doctors did their part, and God gave them that wisdom and knowledge to do that, to save my life and to prevent me from having to lose a leg or anything else. So I want to say thank you to those doctors, who I doubt if they'll ever see this video. But most of all, I'd like to say thank you to God for giving me an opportunity to be able to share this with anybody or somebody that may watch it or see it. The next video or two that you see behind this video will be some of the steps that I went through a little bit. So I just want to say thank you to God. And it was important to me to have people pray for me. And one of the most important people to me, because I know that they're a very spiritual person, is this lady named Nancy, who I care a great deal about. It was important that she understood what I was going through, and I guess I felt like I just wanted their prayer or needed it. So I'm going to end it with that, on being sick. But this is my testimony, and I just want to state it for the record as being so.